What's going on? Move the mouse here. And this is Tiny Glade. And I feel like I came out of the gate way too excited for a game that is this cozy and chill. But it is a fair reaction, I think, because I am super excited about a cozy and chill game. Tiny Glade is amazing. It's $12 on Steam, and it is absolutely worth every penny. So, what is it? Let me kind of take you through the basics and show you. It's a diorama builder, technically, which I think is a first for me in my Steam library. But let's just jump into summer. It's going to give us something random to start with. Each season has a different, slightly different look and feel. And there, exactly, we get a little overpass. I'll zoom out for a minute here. You can see how big the map is. It's not that big at all. That one square tile is what we have to work with. But the things we can do with it are pretty crazy. So I like this little overpass they've got going here. Let's just kind of try and build on that. We'll build a tiny little house over here. We'll drag it out that way. There we go. We made a house. Now, there's all kinds of creative tools. If I go at kind of like a 45-degree angle here, you'll see I can change the height of the roof by dragging up and down. I can turn it into like a what is it, ramparts? Castle top? I don't know. So you can make it really tall. You can make it in between. You can also drag left and right to kind of give it these different shapes if you want to bow it out or concave. You know, so there's all kinds of little things you could do with just the roof. Let's come down here and add some windows to our house. So if I add a single window here, we get that. You can also click on that window again to get different things. So just clicking on it with the window tool, you can see I have a flower box. It's also changing some of the stuff below, which is interesting. The little props that are down here. Now, if I put two next to one another, you might get that. If you put three. But let me show you something here that I think is really cool as well. So if I drag these windows up into the roof, they'll actually become part of that roof. Create these little eaves. The same is true as if you change the height of the house. So for example, if I come back here, if I drag the roof down into those windows, it will pop them out. And at some point it just won't let me, it'll make them disappear once they're low enough. But very, very creative flexibility that you have. When I dropped this house down, I knew what I was doing. There was a footpath here, and wherever that footpath is where the door gets created. So if we didn't want the door on that side, you know, we could bring the terrain up over here. And we could maybe drag left and right to smooth that out a bit. And then we could have our footpath kind of curve around to the side and then come into the house that way. If we wanted it to. I don't think that looks as natural as doing that. Come in and we can bulldoze just that bit of road again. But yeah, you can shape the terrain. So left and right is the steepness. We can change the height. And if our house is attached to a certain bit of land, it may come with it, as we see. Each map's going to have a slightly different look of the trees that are here, the flowers. There's different house shapes that we can do. Well, technically, there's a squarish. There's a four-sided. There's a rectangle and there's a round one. Those are the different shapes. But we can kind of bolt them onto one another, and you can freely change everything about it after the fact. All the way up, all the way in. Same thing here. I dragged the camera around a little bit funny spot there. Same thing here with these towers. We can add windows. You can put multiple together to create these different feelings. What else? Oh yeah, walls. So these can snap if you want. You can kind of come right in the corner or something and just drag a line. But they also move totally freely, even through the walls themselves. And wherever there's a footpath, it's going to create those little cut-throughs. Right? So, example. Very cool stuff. Let's do one more thing with the houses. Oh, there's fences too. I haven't really messed around with those, but same sort of thing, right? They'll create little fence gates. Up rocks will create stairs, as you see. So just as creative as you want to think, really. You can do all kinds of stuff. Like add a moat around our house. Because we can. And now we've created something beautiful. Let's go check out autumn. Ooh. Calendar or human sacrifice? We don't know. But we can do all kinds of things with it. Like bring up pillars to stand on. We could make a crazy high roof. We could make a... No? Where's the roof piece? There we go. Oh, if you right click on an object, it'll give you the tools for just that object. So like, for example, if I've neutral clicked, I can click somewhere or not click somewhere, but just kind of hover the mouse over somewhere and it will give me these different controls. But if I'm having trouble finding the specific like grab point that I want, I can right click on this item and it gives us all these little different icons depending on what we want to affect. The height of the pillars, where they come off the ground. If we grab the side, right, we can change size there, and then the little arrows, the 4-way arrows, lets us drag it around any which way. And you can multiple undo, which is cool. So we get the undo, redo up here at the top, the arrows, but you can also just hit Z, not Control Z or Command or anything like that, just Z. I say that with Mac keys in mind. I don't even know if this game supports Mac, so I hope that it does because it's simple and beautiful and tons of fun, and I highly recommend it. Autumn. We've got Olden, and it gives everything kind of this new different look. What is this? Is this technically just house? Okay, and it's raised up. I didn't know how to do that the other day when I guess that makes a lot of sense. So if you have, let's see if we can replicate this. So, little house there. Little house here. Actually, we may need to move these a little closer to one another. We'll do it the same length that it was already set, just to see. And then if we do a house in between... and sort that. So we could do that, and then if we come up from the bottom, right, we can raise that. That's not exactly ideal. What is the material difference there? I guess it is. It's just, is it the side that I'm not changing and then they're adding fence on top? So if we grab the little paintbrush thing here, we can choose different things. If I choose that blue, okay. And then if we grab fences, can we put those on top of here? Well, there's fences underneath, so I'll figure that out. How do we do the railings? Have you been playing this? Let me know in the comments if you know. The flowery one is one of my favorites, and I honestly don't even want to change this house. I just want to live here. This is fine. I'm moving in. Let's check out this camera mode, which is really, really cool. So there's a couple different modes here. The first is this kind of macro approach to miniature photography. And you could actually use this effect in real life to make photos of buildings and streets and you name it look like a miniature. Essentially, you're creating a very small depth of field and shooting at a down angle as if you're standing over that little miniature structure. But you can use the same camera technique to make real life look like miniatures. And it's a really powerful photo effect. I'm really glad they incorporated this, and somebody that knows photography was definitely involved in this. We won't go to the screenshots folder or the modes yet, but from this one camera spot, we can change our zoom or our field of view effectively. If you look at the depth of field, you can really make that effect dramatic, and it's going to have a little bit of an impact Less impact than some of the other modes, but definitely has a lot here. You can change the focal point. So like if we want to see very clearly the front door versus, you know, these flowers over here or this tree in the back. Not that you would, but you may want to change your focal point in a certain shot. You can also change things like the brightness, contrast, saturation. You know, if you wanted to make it look a little older or pop a little bit. You can also change time of day. And not only that, but the angle of the sun. If the shadows aren't quite falling the way that you want them to, you can modify that a bit, which is really nice. Of course, at night, we see the lights of our houses come on. And we can add other lights as well. If we switch to this little flying camera, it's exactly what you might expect. It's basically what you're used to, kind of buzzing around city builders, perhaps. You can kind of look anywhere. Controls are a little different, but you get used to it. Same sorts of things. We can change time of day and adjust a lot of the same things. The depth of field is not as much of an effect, though, on this mode versus, again, that miniature mode. But that's kind of the point, right? You'd be using a different lens for that. If we get down on foot, the controls are particularly weird because we can ASWD, but we have to actually hold the right click down to move, which is not immediately intuitive. It's a little confusing, but you get the hang of it. But instead of walking around this one, let me load up Winter real quick, and then I'll show you one that we can walk around, which is a maze that I built. And these all just have very different feels with all the same objects and techniques that are achievable. So this is a tower in a tower, which is an interesting look. Right, because normally this would be the roof of one. This is the roof of another. So this is sitting on top of this one or inside of that one. Let's run around something that I built. We can see all those ones that we started today. This one, this absolute work of art. But this is a maze that I built. And I sat down yesterday to record something for Tiny Glade. I wanted to build, I wanted to share, and I was not inspired. I started messing around, and I thought to myself, like, oh, you know, like what would be kind of cool things that we could do? Like a maze would be cool. And I started sketching it out and just wasn't feeling it. So I closed Tiny Glade down, opened up YouTube, and right there at the top of my recommended is Joy Build Cities building a maze in Tiny Glade. So I watched that, got a little inspiration, and came in and kind of did my own twist on it. So she had used walls, which certainly, you know, looked the part in the right context. Don't get me wrong. But I wanted to kind of use some of the structures a little bit different, and these are actually basically the house and castle building blocks. Let's smash this because we don't need that. And what I essentially did here was long rectangular houses, narrow as can be, and then just bring the roof down. And then when you get into this mode here, right, you can extend and change the shape, and we can rotate it a little bit if we need to. And I basically just use that to create a grid and then trim the grid back in order to make the maze. Now, one thing that's a little bit of a pain here, you can see that there's doors on the paths where if we use the walls, it's just a little thing you can walk through. And I like that better. We can technically achieve this with this one, but it's kind of a pain. You have to bring the floor up and then bring, you know, this down as much as possible. And then we'd have to do like, you know, each little door that we wanted would kind of be its own little cut through like that. That was a bit of a nuisance, honestly. So I just kind of left it open. So we've got this maze. I can leave this up on screen for a minute if you want to solve. It does take you around the entire, it takes you around the entire maze basically to get to this point in the center. And then you realize this is beautiful and I'm stuck here because now I need to find my way back out. So didn't really think that one through, that we, you know, could have the exit on the other side. but what do you want? This is my first crack at a maze, so. If we look at the miniature photography, this looks just very cool. I really love that they included this camera effect. Thank you to whoever either really knew photography or brought in someone to consult on this, because it for me, like it helps make these creations that much better, because they look cool, but when you can share them in really cool ways right in game, I think that's really nice. So there's our miniature photography. We've got our flying camera. We can buzz around. And of course, let's see if I go to the right spot here. If I'm on foot, am I on the opposite side of the maze? Can I get outside the zone here, please? What if I go down? Oops, I didn't mean to undo those. I want to get out of camera mode and get down here. This is where I would like to be, please. Could I please be here? And then first person? Okay. Well, did we get outside the... We didn't? No, we're stuck inside. Okay. Hold on a second. I'll run back to the beginning and then I'll take you through. And here we are. Through the magic of editing, we're back at the start of our maze. I wanted to create these footpaths, but also just a little bit of the flowers and bushes kind of bleeding in from the sides, which makes sense because this has these kind of rosy vines growing up the walls. So I wanted there to be some growth. And when you run into dead ends, there's flowers or a tree or a little mini pond there. You know, so it's a nice nature walk. I went down that dead end on purpose. I think I know how to solve this. So we'll just walk through and see if I remember how to solve. There's basically a bunch of dead ends, as would be the case with a maze. And I tried to make them, here, I'll go down a dead end real quick. I tried to make them so like, oh, you can't just see it's a dead end. You have to come down here to prove that it's a dead end. But occasionally in these larger areas with the clearings, we've got the tree. I actually do need to light this place. I think that's a dead end and we have to cut in here. Yes. Another dead end over there. That's all dead end. So we'll zigzag our way through here. And where we had been sticking to the outside path. Hello, sheep. I think we can... Yeah, we can pat them. Hello, friend. Okay, enjoy the maze. Good luck. I think we need to go this way, if I remember right. I just wanted to show you that tree. Isn't it beautiful? This little... Is there a little bit of water here? Oh, there's water on the other side of this wall. That's right. I thought I knew my way through. Apparently, I did not. Sheep, you were going the right way. Thank you. I appreciate you. You knew what you were doing. Here I am saying good luck. You're getting lost. This is a dead end? No, this is not a dead end. There's that water I was talking about. We'll come down here. And I think we want the middle path. If I remember right. That goes back out that way. That's the dead end, and then we zig back in through here. And then we zag next. And we should be at our tower. Our little Rapunzel tower here. Or at least my very quick, poor attempt at it. I didn't make any rounded top or anything. But I've got some ideas on how to do that now. Just from loading in and seeing what the various random creations are when you start a map, it might give you some inspiration. There's also every day, if we go back out to the main, a daily theme that we can try and do. So hashtag Tiny Daily. So yeah, make a little cozy bakery. Maybe I will try that. I'm not going to do it on this episode or this video. We'll just leave it as it is. have some fun with this one. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. Like, I literally have not been this excited for a game in a long time. And it is so simple and cozy and chill and not causing me aggravation and stress and anxiety. I have pretty bad anxiety, and I play a lot of competitive shooters, and it's not a good mix. So it's nice to unwind with something totally chill that actually works on release day, I will say. Simple. I think there's stuff they could add. I hope that they do. But for $12, this is a great little game, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks to Joy Build Cities. Check out her channel for the inspiration on the maze. I was just really stuck for ideas. And I mean, technically I had that idea for a maze before I saw the video, but I wasn't really inspired until I saw somebody do it in a pretty cool way. And then I got some ideas, and again, you can get ideas just by loading into the map. They give you a little random structure and random terrain every time as a way to get started. But of course you can delete it all and do your own thing. Very fun little bit of diorama building technically. Hope that you check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I will probably post more of this because I'm hoping I build another thing that's pretty cool. And here you go one more time. If you would like to solve the maze, the entrance is in the bottom left and you're trying to get to the center. Hope you enjoyed Tiny Glade. Well worth it for $12. Check it out. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. If you're new, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Until then though, this is Move the Mouse, signing off. Hey, that sheep's still over there.